Here we go. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to MJ Live. We are here again. It's another Thursday. It's 8 o'clock. Let's get this started. So, before we do, in fine style, let us go ahead and share the post. And while we're doing that, let's listen to a little bit of music. All right. So, welcome to the show, guys. If you're brand new, welcome to the show. This is how we do it around here. All right. Welcome to the show. Come on in, just drop a little message in there so that I can see you're here and welcome you properly. And let us share on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever it is your people are, let us share it. All right, let's go. Welcome to the show. Just drop me a little message, guys. Just drop me a message. Can you hear the music? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the music. Hey, Marva, can you hear the music? Thank you. Welcome to the show. Marva Riley. She was on last week or the week before. Wow, we're moving through this year already really, really quickly. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Post it in your group. Post it in your social media. Awesome. Thank you. We're going to be talking to a combat veteran today. We never had anybody like this before on the show. Never had anything like it. Tamara Dawes, welcome, darling. How are you doing? How's the family? We're getting started right now. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Starting now. That's the post. There we go. Post it in your favorite groups. Broadcast it out. There we go. Just sent it to about 1,000 people. Jessica Watson. Hello, cousin Jessica Watson. How you doing? Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to the family over there in the UK. You're good. Thanks. Awesome. Come on in, guys. Get settled down. Get yourself a drink. Get yourself some snacks. We're gonna take our time this evening. We're going to take our time. We've got a lot of good information for you. All right. Here again. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is the Melissa Jane Show. We're here every Thursday and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're here to give you inspirational guests this first quarter, people that are going to inspire you, people that are going to encourage you, people that are going to motivate you and just give you great information. Some people, some guests you'll see are going to be very unique. You may not have spoken to or met somebody like this before. In the past, we've had somebody who is a Freemason. I never spoke to a Freemason before, not knowingly anyway. I was able to learn all about his life as a Freemason. Today we're talking to a combat disabled veteran, and you know we're gonna hear some things that we may not have heard before. So come on in, guys, get settled down, tell a friend, bring a friend, and she's also going to be sharing some of the resources that are available to women veterans in particular. All right. So, how are you feeling tonight? How are you feeling? They're coming. They're coming in. Come on in, guys. How are you feeling? Just drop me a number one in the chat if you're feeling good today. And again, thank you for joining us today. And do leave a comment. Just leave a comment. Just put in something so that I actually know that you're here. Because if you don't say something, then I just see the numbers, but I don't see the people. So I would love to see who is here. All right, Fantasy Folly is here. Thank you so much, Fantasy Folly. We had an awesome time at the beach yesterday. It was lovely. So come on in, guys. Get settled down. Before we bring our guest up, let me just tell you a few things that just to update you on a few things. This season is all about guests who are here to inspire. We're doing twice a week for this first quarter, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So put it on your schedule. Put it on your schedule. Put it on your calendar, on your wall. Set an alarm on your clock so that you never miss a show. And also set your alarms or you set your alerts on YouTube, and then you'll get notified. You'll get sent an email when I'm just about to go live. All right. Also, I started to help people again with their digital marketing. And if you need some help with your graphic design, Facebook, Instagram, video marketing, including editing and getting your YouTube channel started, and also website creation, get in touch with me and I can certainly help you or point you in the right direction. All right, guys, I have somebody that I'm working with right now, helping them with their YouTube channel just to get started, and they're able to do what they want to do because they say that they're not technically savvy, so we can help them do that. All right, moving on. Last year, we did a series called the Retire Ready Research Series, and we talked about budgeting net worth, ditching debt, living wills, revocable trusts, 401ks, social security, and all of these videos are available on archive. So if you missed that series, go back and check some of those out. We're not quite finished with that series yet. We're going to come back to it in the second quarter of the year, but we're taking a little pause so that I can fulfill my promises to some people that I promised that I would have on the show. That's what we're doing for the first quarter. All right, let's see who's joined us now. Welcome to Dr. Sonia B. Elliott. Good to see you again. She was with us at a conference in Lauderhill this past Tuesday, which they were talking all about faith-based business conference. It was amazing. All right, guys, I think we are ready to go. Again, welcome to the show. If you're here and you haven't said hello in the chats, say hello so I can say hello to you back. Greetings to you all. All right, without further ado, I am going to introduce you to my guest today, who is Makissa Lewis. She is a combat disabled veteran. She's a speaker, and she's the founder of a non-profit called MySeester. MySeester. We're going to get to that right about now. Welcome to the show, Makissa. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Sure, great. I'm good too. Thank you so much. And thank you for being patient with me to get around to having you on the show.
It's okay. You're busy. I see you.
You see me, awesome. And I see you. You're busy too. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Doing good trouble.
Yes. So let's get into why you are here today. I met you, was it last year or the year before?
Tag.
I think it might have been the beginning of last year, I think.
It might have been in the beginning of last year because we went to that thing.
That workshop.
Yes, that workshop. And then I said, have me on your show.
Yes. And but as we were speaking, you were telling me about some of the things that you do, and I was quite curious. And I said, we're definitely going to have you on the show at some point. And today is the day.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So let us start with telling people a little bit of your background.
Okay. I appreciate that. Like I told you before, I do make notes because I didn't want to miss anything. Because it all kind of came to this fruition with MySeester.
Oh.
So, me, I'm an island girl, born in Jamaica,
Okay.
spent some time in New York, Flatbush, and then came to Florida. I went to Southridge. Um, and then in 1995, when I was in Southridge, a junior, one of my classmates killed himself. And that kind of at least caused me to want to do psychology, wanted to be a psychologist, and then more importantly, wanted to be a trust counselor. The people who come to the schools to speak to the students when there is trauma being had.
Okay.
So my understanding was I was going to do the military just for a little bit. I was going to join and I was going to get some money for college, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that that was not the case because there's no little bit with the military. Once you're in kind of like for forever. It's the mafia in that sense.
Wow.
So I got in, then I got out, but there was no resources. For one, I was a female who was 19. There was no resources. And though I was independent and I was living by myself, I was still considered a child, at least back then.
How old was you at that point?
19.
Oh, okay.
When I got out the first time, I was 19. I didn't do the full 4. And I was trying to go to school and trying to at least be a grown-up as much as I could, and figure I could play my own way, which I could, but I was still treated like a child. I still was treated that I didn't do anything in the military because, one, females back then, we didn't do combat. Okay. We just served, supposedly, and that was it. So I didn't have much resources, and social media was not popping. There was not a lot of places where you could go to find things. Now you can go on the internet and you can find anything. Right. In fact, Google didn't exist back then. So that was then. Then at least one of the best moments was FIU had an intro to women's studies class. And then I learned about women's studies and the woman perspective and the significance of the color purple and Alice Walker and womanism and the hidden curriculum. And that put me on the trajectory of wanting to do something related to women. Not just psychology and helping kids in school, but women, because we were treated so unfairly. Mm-hmm. So I did that. But then 9/11 happened. And very tragic.
Before you get to that, when you say that women were treated unfairly, can you give us some examples of that?
Well, the hidden curriculum is like how they pick on boys to know math and girls weren't. Or in the language they use, anything with females was so negative. I won't say the curse words, but you know them. Okay. And that's always used. Or really? A male could be a dog and a female not.
Got
that
you.
Kind of thing. Or how we're supposed to always be weaker or know our place. So a lot of that was taught or understood, and you don't know where it came from. Mm-hmm. But it was by design. Mm-hmm. Why girls always get pink toys and boys get blue toys. Mm-hmm. And there's a way that you're supposed to be a girl and there's a way you're supposed to be a boy. Mm-hmm. And no one ever questioned it because this was understood. Mm-hmm. And I got all of that from my experience in women's studies. Oh. But then I realized that I'm not the typical girl because I was in the military. And I didn't really I climbed trees in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. I ran in Jamaica. So does that make me not a girl? I mean, I was like, something's different. Something's different about me.
What was it that made you want to go into the military?
I wanted to get money to be a trust counselor. I knew I had enough brain power to do the psychology program with a bachelor's, but to be a trust counselor, you needed a master's. And I didn't see how I could pay for a master's program because I didn't see it.
Right. So the military was an option to get the funds.
To get the funding, yes. Right. I mean, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, I wanted to serve my country." No, I just wanted to
It
get
went,
the
it
money.
went that. You just to be real, just to be real.
Yeah,
Weren't you afraid? Weren't you fearful at all?
at the time I didn't know I was supposed to be afraid.
Oh,
I mean, because that's another thing. Social media makes everything available now. You know things, their affairs, but all we knew was that people went in and they came back out, and they had a lot of money when they came back out. They weren't injured. They were coping. They were fine.
okay.
And that's kind of, they had that be all you can be,
Yeah, yeah,
everything. So everything was very positive
yeah.
military wise.
Mhm.
If there was anything bad, they weren't saying.
Yeah. But once you got in, your eyes were open. So
Right.
we
That's
can
why
talk.
I was like, I was supposed to just do this military career and it was just going to be just like that. But no,
It
once
was
you're in there forever.
all
Even
right.
when you're out, you're still in.
All right. So again, everybody, welcome to the show, and please just keep on being engaged. Keep on being engaged. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, feel free to share as we always do, and we will engage with you as well. So you started talking about the color purple and what that meant. Can you continue on that, please?
Yes. I watched the movie. I don't know if you watched the movie, The
Oh
Color
yeah,
Purple.
many times. Yeah.
Right. I didn't know there was any big thing about it. But once I did the women's studies classes, Alice Walker used the color purple for womanism. Females who didn't want to be feminists
Mhm.
because they didn't feel like they belonged there. Because sad to say, feminism was kind of Victorian women feeling they didn't have any rights. It didn't mean to include Black or brown or Native Americans. They were talking about Victorian women. That was
Okay.
the feminist movement. They wanted to have rights. They wanted to have land because they didn't want to get married because their husband was going to get the land.
Hmm.
Sad to say,
Right.
if you're a Black person, you weren't even thinking about land because
Mm.
you were a slave.
Mhm.
And but then Sojourner Truth was talking about, hey, ain't I a woman? And how she deserves rights. She deserves to be treated like a woman. No one ever helps her get into the carriage. So there was a disconnect with that. And then plus the Caribbean aspect of it, if you're a Caribbean woman, you kind of were not really concerned with some of the issues. You were willing to do any job just so you can eat. You were not concerned with going to corporate. You just wanted a job. Or you
Mhm.
didn't want to anyone to find out you didn't have your papers, you know? You were just trying to survive. So it's kind of a different mentality. And from that is the color purple, where she coins womanism, where you don't belong with that. But then again, you don't belong with the Black movement either, because sad to say, the Black movement, yes, they had the Black Panthers, but that was later.
Mm.
The Black movement didn't recognize Black women as being strong Black women. Some people argued that yes, they did, but unfortunately, they felt that Black women were supposed to support the men. And if you were supporting the men and feminism was not you, where do you fit? And
Mm.
that's where the womanism, the color purple, the strengthening the color purple came to be. That's with Alex Walker and all of that. And from my college years, that's kind of the mentality that kept on building and building because I continue to see it. As you
Mm.
go further up, I realized that I don't really identify with the Black movement because I was not raised with that. I was raised with Islanders. The
Okay.
1960s movement of the United States,
Right.
my
Right.
people don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're in
Yeah.
Jamaica.
It's
They had a
true. It's
different
true.
they had a different issue. We don't
That's what.
know it.
That's so interesting that you say that because even though I'm from England, and I came
Mhm.
to America, it's like Black America is different than you know European Black. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And I just
right.
thought I was going to come to America and just fit in just like that, and it wasn't the case. It was like
No.
very very different, but
And they
interesting.
make it clear that we're different. Sad to
Yeah.
say. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're not one of us. You
Mhm.
don't know. You're not woke. But
so
that's how it
so
comes to
how
be.
long did you actually spend in the military then?
I actually eventually did 11 years.
All right. So let's talk about your journey in the military. Obviously, you've had a lot of challenges. The now we know that women weren't treated fairly at all. There's a lot of
There's a lot of
movies. There's a
unfairness.
lot of
Yes,
there's a lot of unfair treatments that we see in
but
movies.
there's also
And so
opportunity too.
yeah, so let's explore that and just share your point of view, because you were in it, and then also the fact that you were a combat
Yes, I like to
but-
use that.
yeah.
Because I know I even, like you said, I made a post about that. For the people who I serve, they understand. Um, so the title is Female Combat Veteran.
Oh,
The
okay.
thing that you keep on the mouthful, the
Yeah.
female.
The
We have
female
to
comes
mention the fact
first.
that we're female,
Uh-huh.
and then the combat, the significance of that we actually were in the thick of things,
Yes.
that we seen things. So it kind of explains that, and the veteran, the service, so that all comes together. So I got my shot in 2023, right after 9/11. What happened was they were calling everyone who ever served ever in the military because to fight the big bad, the global war on terror. At the time, I don't think anyone knew who was the enemy.
Right.
And they went to old habits of blaming all Iraqi people or people who look like Iraqi.
Uh-huh.
For people who were service members, that meant you had to go to war. Either find a place to go or we're going to send you to war. So in the middle of my education, I was told to go to Iraq. Iraq was interesting because just before I went, there was the kidnapping of Jessica Lynch.
Oh.
Her convoy got ambushed. They shot it up. Her battle buddies, her females that she had close relationships. Some of them got kidnapped. Some got killed during that time period. So that kind of reinforced that females are not supposed to be here because it's dangerous.
Right.
So
and then they send you over there.
they sent us over there. So that was kind of the wave of what we went through. Plus, I went with a reservist unit.
Okay.
It's not that we don't train, but we're not doing this every day. A reservist unit will have a day job. They have their families. They're living their life. They're not necessarily 24/7 military. So it's a totally different mindset. So we went over there and Iraqis were, everything was being destroyed. This is Babylon now.
Yeah. What year was this?
This was 2023, 2003, 2004.
2003, 2004.
The second wave.
Okay.
Not the first wave. The first wave, they don't talk about. And you probably will never have them talk about it because they seen things that, because they were there. I mean, they were in the beginning. When we were there was a little bit of bitterness. I think we had Burger King. That was our luxury place, Burger King. That's how you can tell by the stages of how much stuff they had. Like first we had Burger King, the next probably had Burger King plus KFC kind of thing. But we just had Burger King.
Right.
But the communication, that was not there. Again, social media. And I think there was one news person who actually got to go there who kind of messed it up for everyone else. Geraldo Rivera. I don't know if you remember that when he went there and he decided to tell everybody look, this is where I am. Yeah. That happened during the time period we were over there. And that kind of hurt us because we weren't being able to communicate after Geraldo did his thing. Because we couldn't communicate at home because we were thought, okay, if Geraldo could do it, you guys might do it too.
Yeah.
So that's the wave I was in combat with. Communications was limited. We didn't have good social media, and we were not allowed to communicate a lot because there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
Who was the enemy?
Right.
Who could we trust? Some people wanted us there. Some people wanted us to go home. And for them, they didn't see people that looked like us.
Okay.
They didn't see brown or black people, especially females, serving. That was like, they saw females anyway. They saw men, but not females.
What percentage of females were with you when you were there?
Pardon me?
What percentage of women?
You can say maybe 20%. but they
Okay.
spreaded us out
Mhm.
because they learned from Lynch. You can't have all the females together because if you have them all together, if someone wants to do damage, they can just get them in one shot. And then if
Yeah.
you had a female, regardless, even if we had our weapon, we had an escort. So imagine you're a soldier, armed to the teeth,
Yeah.
you still need an escort
Right.
because you couldn't be responsible for your own safety.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that kind of was the mentality.
So that was in 2003, 2004.
Hmm.
Just jumping ahead for a second. We're gonna go back. But is it the
That's
same?
fine.
Is it the same? Is it the same today in the military as far as you know? As
I don't
far
know
as
if it's the same, if they have the same mentality, or they might have the same mentality, but would they say it publicly? Back in
let's
2003, 2004, you could say it and no
oh
one will bat an
right.
eye.
But
But
it's more
now with the
covert
Me
now.
Too movement, you might think it, but I don't think you would say it publicly
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
that's the difference. It's
Mhm.
not that the Me Too movement helped the military, but it caused people to go hide their sexism,
Right.
hide their racism, hide
Uh-huh.
all of that. But it still
Mm,
exists, sad to say.
yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go back there again because I want you to just paint a picture for us. What would be like your typical uh, day or a typical week? What would it be? What would it look like? Just from the outside looking in, how you're sort of living. And we're talking about. I want to talk specifically about the combat portion because that is a very very important part.
Yes, it is. So the combat portion is that if you're in a war zone, everything is combat. So everything around you is combat. So typical day, we wake up early, and they do is amazing. Even though there are people trying to kill you, they would break with their morning prayers. I think they prayed 5 times. So
Oh,
they did the morning prayer, bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, we have to do prayers. Stop. Bomb, bomb, bomb. We doing prayers again. Stop. Literally, that's how they did it. So we'll wake up. We try to wake up before, like before them, when they were doing the morning prayer. So we kind of did our movements to go around there.
uh-huh.
Sometimes it didn't work out that way. So we sometimes, in a typical morning, we'll hear the mortars. So to this day, I hate the sound because
Hold
it's
on.
like boom.
Oh,
So it's like, keep in mind, morning prayers are very quiet and very sacred. So it's all quiet, and then out of nowhere you hear boom, and they were close. I'm not gonna lie to you. To
wow.
this day, it's hard to explain to anyone how close they were. Um, I don't know. I guess Broad Mall, one part of Broad, like the beginning of the Broad Mall and to the end, that's how close it was.
Wow.
So yeah, you might not get injured, but you definitely hear the rattling.
Oh,
So
right.
you so and then so you wake up, you do your hygiene and everything, and because they were so close, we were always armed. So on a given time, we had Kevlar, our vests, and this is some heavy plates. I
Wow.
mean, I'm surprised little on me was able to do it. The plates are ammo, live rounds, because we have to be able to defend ourselves, even though we have our escort. Remember the escort I told you about. Our weapon, water, because it's always hot. So we have
Uh-huh.
all of this gear and a lot of water.
Uh-huh.
So we were armed with that. And then I also, before I left, got some purifying malaria pills, translating from all this stuff because
Mhm.
my mom wanted to make sure I was safe just in
Mhm.
case I got caught.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I had all of that on my back too.
Mhm.
So we would walk to work and we would try to walk between the times they were not doing prayers. But if we didn't, then we would hear the mortars and we'll get to our location. If we got to our location, we all had different responsibilities. So one of my responsibilities at first was supplies.
Mhm.
Uh, Lynch was a part of that kind of unit type of
Mhm.
mission. So once
Okay.
they found that out, they took all the females out of it because if it could happen to Lynch, it could happen to you. So they took me out of that and put me in what they call headquarters. And headquarters dealt with the movement of where soldiers were going.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot of logistics and a lot of human resources processes.
Mm.
On the flip side, I also heard when things didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things we were also doing was communicating with the commander of what's going on. Like,
Mm.
this soldier was here and he got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
or this is happening. And he had to be updated in real time because he was also the one who's going to contact home to say this is happening.
Mm.
So yes, it was safer, but it's relative. Is it safer to be in the thick of things, or the one who's reporting that something bad is happening?
Mm.
You have to make a judgment call on that. And then lunchtime, same issue. They had their prayers. We either try to go before they had their prayer, while they had their prayers, or sometimes we get caught when they did the little booming thing, and it was always so close, rattle, rattle. And then we'll eat, come back to work, and we'll do that. And they 24/7 just booming, booming, booming.
Wow.
Except for when they're doing the prayers. And that's why it always caught you off guard, because
Yeah.
it was so quiet, so peaceful. And you thought, okay, nothing's going to happen because they just got through doing their prayers. And you never, at least I never got used to or got hip to, like, prayers is, it doesn't matter. They're going to do it anyway.
Mm.
And then evening. And in the evening time, you don't necessarily have free time because you always have to be aware.
Alert.
Yeah, alert. Yes. So that was my typical day. And we did that. That's a week. That's
Mm-hmm.
constantly. And
What about nighttime? Does it do those? Now you call them mortars, right?
yes, mortars.
Is that
You
like
know, okay, you know when 4th of July, the
Yeah.
rocket fireworks?
Uh-huh.
You ever heard the rocket fireworks? Now
Yeah,
imagine
like
it's quiet,
it's
quiet,
kind of like
quiet.
a whistle sound, right?
Yeah, it's so quiet. I mean, very, very quiet because, of course, well, not very quiet. They're doing their prayer. So you might hear that,
Uh-huh.
but it's very quiet. And then the rocket thing comes
Got you.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they, at night, they do it 24/7. They do it at night. Or if there was a soccer thing, they decide to want to shoot up their weapons in the air because they want to celebrate, or they're upset. They do that. So you couldn't go out, really, not much. And if
Yeah.
you did go out, you had to have your escort,
Yeah.
and you had to have another. And if you were lucky, you had another female who wanted to go out too. But there was nothing much there,
Uh-huh.
and you couldn't really communicate. Thanks, Geraldo, because I mean our communication was monitored because didn't want us to communicate, and that was thanks to Geraldo. We all knew Geraldo did it, and we all knew we were facing that backlash. Thanks to him.
I do remember that actually now. Now that you mention
It's
it.
funny, but it was not funny for those people who he told the location to.
Okay, so what was the hardest part of being in the military? And it was you said it was for how many years again? Was it
11.
11 years? What was the hardest part of being there? And as you look back at it now, and I would actually like to talk about how you decided to get out, or how did you get out? Because you said it's something once you're in, you're basically in for
Yeah, you're
life.
still in for life. I find the hardest part was lying to your loved ones. That was, to me, the hardest part. Being on the phone, when we did get to be on the phone, hearing the mortars, having a good old conversation about what's going on, because my mom was a teacher, and she was telling me this was going on, and I heard the mortars, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. Having to have that conversation, keep that same
Wow.
conversation, because I didn't want her to know that, hey, if she can hear the mortars, that means they're closer than normal,
Right.
So having that was the hardest part, and saying that you're okay and you're not scared, and not conveying that, because you don't want them to know about that, because what can they do? It's not that they can come and take your spot.
They're gonna be worried.
Yeah. So it's that constant level of lying I never got used to that. It just, that whole time period. And even when you came out from the combat environment, you still had to do that level of lying still, because things, you didn't want to tell anyone that things were not okay in the
Wow.
military.
Does everybody feel that way whenever that when does most people that are in the military, do they just make it seem that everybody's okay just to protect their loved ones?
I can't say. I don't know if they all protect their loved ones. I guess it depends on how close you are or if you have that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and my mom are extremely close.
Mm.
So we always talk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know there's I didn't want her to experience that.
Mm.
I do know that there's a lot of people who in the military feel that they're protecting their loved ones by not sharing the
Mm.
harsh reality of it. So I
I
don't
understand.
I just know for me it's a conscious decision. I don't
Yeah.
regret making it
Right.
because
Right.
but for the whole 11 years that I was in, there
Wow.
was there was not there's things I couldn't tell her, and to me by omitting it, it is also a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's deep. So then, how did you get out of it then? How did you get out?
Well, I finally got the time up, and then medical. um,
Before you continue, let me just give a quick shout out. Shout out to Jackie Adamson for joining us today. Shout
Good
out
evening.
for Lashes
Hi.
Journey as well, and everybody else that's in. Just drop a little message if you're still listening. There, it looks like they're listening very intently, because normally they're chatting up a storm, but they're sitting back and
Oh,
listening. Go ahead,
woohoo.
put me on your big TV and just get comfortable, because this is a very, very interesting topic today. Um,
Yes.
we're talking with Makissa Lewis. She's the founder of MySeester, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But she is a say how you say, is it female
Female combat veteran.
female combat
Because I'm
veteran?
first a female. That combat, as you see, kind of is a big chunk of how the whole
Yeah,
experience. And the veteran is because I served.
you served, and again, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Lashes again. Big shout out to um Delicious Catty or Delicious Katie.
Hi.
Hi, host and guest, everyone. Thank you for being here again today. It's good to have you all. Um, we talked about how you got out, and you put a big smile on your face when I mentioned this. And
Yes.
I just want to also acknowledge something, because as you were talking about having to lie to your family, I could see that you were kind of getting a little bit choked up, and I could see
Yeah, I
how
don't.
how it was how it affected you. I would say,
Well, I don't know. Okay.
and it's
There's
okay, and that's okay, by the
no,
way.
but I'm just saying to lie to someone,
Mm,
you have to lie to yourself to convince
yeah,
a person. To
yeah.
do it I mean, to do a good lie,
Oh
you
yeah,
have to start believing it. So I
right.
had to believe that I was okay, even though I was hearing mortars coming.
Yeah, yeah,
I had to ignore the pain in my back that was hurting because I had, like I mentioned, those plates,
yeah.
50-pound plates, front
Whoa,
and back. That's what I was wearing.
wow,
At the time, I think I was like 150 pounds or something. I was like light, but I had to
wow.
wear it,
Yeah.
and that was kind of just the plates. I had all this other gear,
Uh-huh.
plus the gear that my mom decided to give me. So she said, to save my life. I mean, I'm grateful for it, but it also was actual added weight. So that was why I always get choked up talking
Mm,
about that, because the reality is I had to convince myself I was fine.
mm,
Because if
mm,
I didn't convince myself I was fine,
mhm,
mom, I mean, she would know.
yeah.
She would know something was wrong.
Mhm,
And then you can't say, don't worry about it, because
yeah.
that makes a person worry more.
Right.
Like, okay, don't worry about it. That will make you worry more. So you can't do that.
Yeah. I want to just want
Right?
to say to Fantasy,
Thank you, Fantasy. I
thank you,
appreciate that.
thank you for your service. I'm an army mom. My son served 2 tours in Iraq as well.
Yeah,
So
that's deep.
yeah,
I mean, kudos to the parents, because people don't realize when you're thanking the person for their service, the people who we left behind, they served with you.
yeah.
Um,
And as a matter of fact, Fantasy, share if you'd like how you felt as a mom, talking to your son, calling home, right? So she's probably going through the same fantasy's probably going through the same thing that your mom was going through, and her son was probably lying to her too, right?
Probably. If he
Okay.
says he's okay, he's lying.
Yes, mom
There's
knows when
nothing okay about being in combat.
Mom knows when something is wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing okay about being in combat.
Right. Hey, Suzanne,
Period.
welcome to the show. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about how you got out. Let's go there.
Yeah. How I got out. So I was hurt. I knew I was hurt, but I was still convincing myself I wasn't hurt. Because, hey, after a while, you get good at it. So you kind of, but the pain, I had a bad back.
Oh.
I couldn't lift anything. It was a running gag that I couldn't even lift the gallon of milk because I couldn't lift it. It was too,
Wow.
it was too heavy for me. And then medically, I got out for that. And then what they're now doing, there's something called burn pits. So thanks, Geraldo, again. To make sure, no, seriously, because we were so big on not making anyone know where we were located. Henceforth, Geraldo making a big thing. Any communication you got that had any location, anything, they burned it. Oh. But you can't just go away. You had to make sure it was burned because Iraqis would go to the burned thing and take it out and then use it to harm. So henceforth, thanks Geraldo, because that was so much intensity of doing that job properly. Mm-hmm. So I was responsible for the burn pits to watch this. Things got burned. So everything was put in the burn pits. Some things they were not supposed to. Oh. And you inhale those things. So my lungs got bad. Oh, man. So even now I have asthma. So I don't breathe like normal. I get out of breath for stupid things, I think. Like coming up one flight of stairs, I'm done for. Mm-hmm. Not normal, but that's the reality. So things came to a head, and it turned out me saying I'm okay doesn't make me okay. And the doctor said, you're not okay. You're hurt. And the military finally saying, hey, you so hurt, we don't even want you to go back to another war zone ever again because you'll do more harm than good. Right. And that's how I was able to get out. Not because, hey, the military just, in a way, it makes you feel like the military spit you out and said deuces. Because literally that's what they did. Once they realized I couldn't help them anymore, they kicked me out. Wow. Yeah. Yes, there's some benefits. Yes, I got some money for it and all that, but I have smoker lungs that I never smoked ever in my life. I mean, the things where they say don't smoke, I did that. I followed that. But hey, my lungs don't show that. I have, and then my back, forget about it. Yeah, I can lift a gallon of milk now, but that's about it. It kind of works when you don't want to help anyone with groceries or anything. But
that's funny.
It does help. But who wants to believe that you can't lift anything? And a lot of my pain is internal. So it looks like I should be able to do these things. And I'm like, no.
All right. Okay, hold on 1 second. Welcome to Candid Anne. I saw a new report about the dangers of those burn pits. Wow, very serious stuff. And Candid Anne is a registered nurse. She knows a lot about the medical.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, because they only in the Vietnam War, I think it was the Agent Orange, and they took years before they even acknowledged that there was even an issue with that. And thanks to a lot of grassroots efforts with veterans coming together, at least Congress is kind of speeding up the process of recognizing that, yeah, those pits, dangerous, and compensate people. Because a lot of people, I know I complain about having asthma and everything, but some people actually got cancer and all of this other ailments because of it.
Okay, wow. And Fantasy says, I pray that you are being compensated through the PACT Act, PACT Act.
Yes, I shared it actually. So if you follow me, you see that I posted that the latest information on that. I couldn't put the whole thing, but I put the link to it. So if you know any females or male veterans who are interested, then they can go to my Facebook or my Instagram page where I do actually share about the PACT Act and the work that's being done. Because yes, it is serious. And I'm not being compensated through the PACT Act, but I am being compensated for it. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Melody. Fantasy. I know the pay doesn't change your health, but you deserve more.
Thank you, Fantasy. Giving is my getting the more. Helping
Yeah.
another veteran not go through all the tribulations that I'm going through, that's my pay. Real
All
talk.
right. So you can follow. We're only halfway through here. You can follow Makissa Lewis. Look at her name right there, Makissa Lewis, and she has a foundation which we're going to come to in a little bit. But so we're about halfway through, so we'll just take a short little reset here. Fantasy says, "I'm livid about the way this country treats their veterans and service members." Strong feelings here. Yes, you can call me Melody. Sorry, it slips out, Melody. It slips out.
Okay.
um,
Okay, I'll call you Melanie. Thank you, Melody.
Melody. So
Feel free to follow me.
yes, follow Makissa Lewis, and she's on Facebook and Instagram, and her Instagram is MySeester. Do you also have it under your name as well, or just MySeester?
Actually, I try to separate the two
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I'm very big on,
Yeah.
loved ones. So my loved ones have one page and my sister. So it's going to, for those who know the alphabet, here we go. Mike, Yankee, and then you go underscore, Sierra, Echo, Echo, Sierra, Tango, Echo, Romeo. So that's MY underscore SEESTER. And you can find me that way on Instagram. For Facebook, you can just find MySeester, MySeester. Or you can find it through the nonprofit, which is www.myseester.com.
Beautiful.
So you can find me that way. And I tend to post frequently when I know something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to take a little 2-minute distraction, and we're going to come right back with the rest of this interview, which is going beautifully so far. I'm just going to cover you over for a little bit, so just chill out for like 2 minutes, okay? So I just want to remind you guys that the Melissa Jane show is on twice a week right now for this first quarter. I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're having fantastic guests such as Makissa Lewis, who is giving us some information that we may not see or hear about anywhere else. You're hearing it right here on the Melissa Jane show. As well as that, we have I'm bringing back my digital marketing training. I can teach you how to do things like graphic design, Facebook, Instagram, video editing, getting your YouTube started, and website creation. If you need help with that, just getting started, I can put you in the right direction. Okay, guys? And of course, last year I was doing a retire ready research project, where we were talking about budgeting, net worth, debt, living will, revocable trust, 401k, social security, health, and much more. And the archives are on my channel in a playlist, so you can check those out. We're not finished with this research project yet, but we're just taking a break for the first quarter of the year. All right, let's go back to Makissa. Who else just joined us here? Norman, welcome to the show. I appreciate the information. Most people never get the real story. This is deep. I appreciate you for saying so.
Thank you. It means a lot. I'm trying to make sure I'm honest as possible since I lied in the past. So I try to be as honest as possible.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Dr. Sonia Elliott, it is so nice that you choose to be a supportive of those who serve also. That's for you, Makissa.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I find it healing.
Good. All right. So you talked about how you got out of the military, basically health reasons, and that's
Yes.
essentially why you are now
That's where the disabled comes
the
in.
disabled comes in. Now it's all coming together. We've got the woman, we've got the
The combat.
combat, and now we've got the
Yep.
disabled portion.
Hence for the significance with the combat. Hence
Yes.
for those who I serve understand, oh, once you have the combat and the disabled, I won't even need to tell the story because more than likely they can figure it out.
Right. But you also said you have some back issues.
That I do.
You have some what is it, breathing lung issues?
Yes, I have asthma too.
What?
I also have the other one too.
what, what other one?
PTSD.
That's where I was just going. I was just going.
I
to
know. That's why I said I have that one too.
we didn't even
I
do
can
it.
laugh about it, but
We didn't
man,
even do it.
yeah, that's the deep one.
That's the deep one. We want to talk about that a little bit because that's
Okay.
that's
I
also
figured it was gonna come.
that's also very important. Now, one thing that you mentioned,
Ooh, I guess
when you talked about the firework type of stuff that goes on in the air. The firework.
yeah, that's kind of nice. That's a nice way of putting it.
Right?
Fireworks, yeah.
What is it? What was the proper word for it?
Well, it's mortars.
Mortar.
But the reason why I say fireworks because it kind of put it into perspective.
Layman's terms.
It makes you kind of understand, but not really, because unless the rattling is real.
Right.
And they were meant to kill you, so it's kind of different. It's not like, oh, splendor.
Right.
So it's kind of it's not fireworks by a long shot.
I totally. And because of that, the PTSD, explain what PTSD is for those who don't have any idea.
Well, first off, is post-traumatic stress disorder. And the topic, which I guess, since I'm going to be honest, I didn't get the PTSD from those. I got it from the military sexual trauma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, combat was bad. And yes, it was heavy. But military sexual trauma, where the people who you thought was your battles and your buddies and supposed to look out for you, one team, one fight, they also can be some grimy individuals as well.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we didn't prep on this. Are you okay to talk about this?
I'm okay to talk about it until I'm not okay to talk about it. How about
okay. That? All right. Because you opened the door, right? So
I
first
try to be honest because that's
right.
the only way I can help someone else so they don't go through the same things I go through. All honesty, that's kind of the whole point of doing this, is to be at least to show that, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. All right. Chat. If you're listening in the chat right now, give me some number fives. Give me some number high fives for Makissa for being so honest, for being so transparent, for being so brave, for being so brave. Let's give me some fives in the chat for Makissa, and she can laugh about it now. I know it's deep, but she can laugh about it now, which makes it.
Well, I don't laugh about it all the time, and it's not a laughing matter. It's really serious, and the sad thing is, Me Too really hasn't done much with the military. The military. Because it's still happening, and sad to say, if you're a brown or a black female in the military and you're dealing with this, you either get ignored, you usually don't get help, or sad to say, as you've seen in the news, you might end up getting killed if you speak out. That's the reality of the situation right there.
All right. So, like you said, you can speak about it until you can't. Can you just give us your experience in this regard and share as much as you want?
Well, in my regard, basically, I thought it was someone who I could trust it, and I trusted them, and I was young, and they weren't supposed to be trusted, really. I can't go into much detail with that because I'm not going to use this forum for that. But like I said, it's people it was not an Iraqi soldier who attacked me.
Right.
It
Right.
was an American soldier. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
And they were the ones who I thought I could depend on. And it didn't happen while I was in combat.
Mm.
It happened what they call garrison, because garrison is when you're not at war. So in garrison.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened during peacekeeping. So it happened on my first time in the military.
Oh.
And I thought I could trust this person. And I thought I could trust the chain of command. Chain of command is your leadership, and there's steps you go to. But unfortunately, I learned that that's not always the case. They either want to keep it quiet and hope you just go away. I see that Me Too is trying to make inroads, but if they just gave Gillian, I can't say her last name properly, just a wall after she came out and reported it and said this was going on, and then she ended up getting murdered, and all they gave her to remember her memory was a wall, then you know the military is not doing much about it. There's still much to be done. I'm glad there's a sisterhood and the social media networks. They're working. They're there. They're not professionals, and we understand that. But sometimes that's all we can handle is talking to another female who can relate. Because sometimes if you don't trust the right person, they're the ones who are trying to get you. And when I mean get you, it's not like they're trying to get you to like give you a tap. No, they're trying to get you to kill you. You're not supposed to speak about it. So that's also another reason why I had the disabled thing to my name, because I had to deal with that.
Yeah, I was about to ask, did did that have anything to do with why they wanted you to be out of the military?
The first time, yes.
The first time.
Because if I was out of sight, out of mind, then I was no longer a problem.
Right. Well, I'm so sorry that you went through that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, taking a step back for a second, you mentioned when you hear that sound of the mortars,
yes,
or when I think you had said you also it triggers you when you hear loud noises in
it
quiet
does.
places. Talk through that feeling. What happens to you at that point? Does it take you back? It takes you back there?
I don't know if it takes me back there, but I react. And I react badly. I get frantic. I'm paralyzed as I was then. So when I first heard it, I didn't know what to do. Because keep in mind, as I mentioned, I was a reservist with a reservist unit who we all had day jobs. We didn't know about this little mortar thing, and no one really knew. So I get frantic. I don't know what to do and everything. Then after it settles, it probably doesn't even take that freaking long, I beat myself up about it. Because I was like, dang, I reacted again. I should be used to this. I should do something about it. And so it's like a cycle. Quiet, everything functioning. I'm good. The noise, have the reaction, and then I beat myself up for reacting so poorly. Because I'm saying I should be stronger. I'm the soldier. I need to be aware. So it's a vicious cycle. So the panic, I get frantic.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how I react to it.
So we're going to talk about we're going to move on to the foundation that you created.
Oh, it's not a foundation, but thank you for thinking so. Knock on wood, I get there.
Tell us what it is, and before we do,
I won't call it a foundation, and I used to have a 501c status, working on getting it back. Okay. So putting it in the atmosphere that will come back. But it's an organization that helps female veterans of South Florida. Because Florida has the third largest female veteran population in the United States. Point blank, period. The third. What tends to happen, resources come from Tallahassee and they had to make themselves all the way down. It never gets here. Doesn't.
Wow.
We can go debate why it never gets here. It doesn't. So, and even with the community, I found a lot of the resources were of female veterans doing things outside of Florida.
Oh, okay.
So if you were in South Florida, you didn't know where to go. And if you've been out, you didn't think there was anything for you. So I decided to have my sister, rather than keep on complaining about what we didn't have, and try to be the change I wanted to see. So I wanted to share resources and services and information as it becomes available. So if I get it from the social media, I can share it to the veteran I'm speaking to. But I figured I wanted to do it in a bigger, more organized way.
Got you.
So that's where MySeester came in. And I choose sister because at the end of the day, that's kind of how we are, sisters. Because it was a sisterhood that helped me. It was a sisterhood who first found out about the fact that I had the military sexual trauma. It was not a doctor or anything. It was a sisterhood. And that sisterhood said it was okay. And that sisterhood convinced me, oh, you should get help for it. So it's that kind of mentality. Plus, I pay homage to my own sister, who when I was in Iraq, she was my mom's rock. And to me, to honor her, I made my organization after her. Because she was the one who would tell my mom that everything is going to be okay when I couldn't. Because sometimes communication, I couldn't say everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And though CNN thought they were doing a service, they were showing everything. Oh, this person got bombed and this thing is happening. And yeah, it was a lot of communication of a lot of bad stuff that was happening over there. And it made it hard for me to lie. I still did it, but she was like, what happened with that? I saw it on CNN. I'm like, I don't know. That was nowhere near me.
Wow.
Even though it was.
Yeah.
So CNN, yes, they were giving up-to-date news coverage, but I needed my sister to kind of reinforce, like, yeah, she's fine. And she says she's fine, she's good.
Right. Got you.
So I needed that. And that's kind of how a sister is supposed to be. And that's how I'm trying to make the organization be. That person you can lean on when you can't be there, or, a battle buddy. But I didn't want to say battle buddy because that uses too much. Because I wanted it just to be for females of South Florida.
And also the way how you spell the word sister, it's
I see you. Yes,
I see you. And that's so unique. Really interesting. And how it's I guess it's from the word I see you. The see.
Yes, because seeing is very important. That's the thing. If they don't see you, you get forgotten, or you feel you're forgotten. Good night, Jessica.
Good night, Jessica.
But yeah, seeing is important. That's why. Thank you for presenting fear God and give glory to Him, for our hour of His judgment is to come. Oh, is come, but it's to come, and worship Him that made heaven and earth and the foundations of waters.
Thank you, Jessica. Good night. She's in the UK, so it's just a bit late for her.
I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
But I find that if you see someone, then you can at least help them. You can't ignore them. You can't ignore their plight. You see them. And that's what I'm trying to do. At least let them know I see them. I see your plight. And if I have a voice, I'm going to share, this is what's going on with you. And then I'm going to share the resources I found and give it back to you.
So you said that, when you were going through your assaults, let's just call it assaults back then, you found sisterhood or something that were able to help you. And that's why you're in turn giving back to the sisters that are coming after
Actually,
you.
not then, but once I came out.
But you came out.
Yeah, because
How
when you
how
were
how,
in,
how did you find this sisterhood that were able to help you?
because I started asking, because when I came out, I was asking questions.
Oh.
I wanted to know, because when I came out in for the final time in 2010, I wanted to know what can I do. I
Mm.
had I had my degree,
Mhm.
and I seen some things, and I wanted to know what could I do.
Mm.
And sad to say, we kind of get kicked out, and it was more geared to men. It's like men had the PTSD,
Mm.
men served in combat,
Mhm.
females, you didn't really do much, so we don't even need to worry about you. You're okay.
Mm.
And I found when I was on social media and asking those questions, females like, yeah, and this is what I did, and this is
Mhm.
what I did,
Oh, okay.
and you can try that too. And I found social, that's where the social media kind of helped,
Mhm.
because females were doing it too.
Right.
Because it's hard to recognize a female veteran just by looking at her. But men tend to wear their cap
Mhm.
to make sure they identify it. They wear their little T-shirt to say, "Hey, this is where I served,"
Mhm.
or they're Masons, Freemasons most of the time. Wink, wink.
Oh, okay.
um, they have ways to communicate. But us females, we'll pass each other by and not even acknowledge that we're veterans. But social media gave us that level of where we can hide ourselves. We didn't
Right.
have to out ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And they shared, this is what I did, and this was what helpful for me, and this might be helpful for you. And I found that it was not necessarily in South Florida, but it might work in South Florida. So
Uh-huh.
why not try? And that's
Gotcha.
kind of the mentality where MySeester came into being, and the seeing, making sure we were seeing.
Uh-huh.
Because in Miami, I think it's like 50,000. But I have to see how the numbers shape up now with the last census. It might be even higher,
Oh.
because a lot of females are not counting themselves, because it's dangerous now to say you're a female veteran and you went to combat, because then now you have to be, oh, did they rape you or something? Because you get all those questions. You get the thank
Oh,
you for the service, and then the questions come in of, did you get raped? Did you kill anybody?
really?
Did you know so and so? That kind. So if you're not ready for that, then you
Right.
might as well keep it to yourself and just go on
Gotcha.
social media where you can say it, and no one
Still be it.
necessarily has to ask you those questions, or if they do, you could just block them.
Right, right. So you've really opened up our eyes to some things that we wouldn't, those who are not in combat or not in the military just don't even think about. It's just not something that's top of mind. But I'm glad that you're able to open our eyes to some things,
So you
even
can
just
see some things.
so we can see some
Uh-huh.
things, even just etiquette. Because I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. Who just blurts out, "Oh, did you get assaulted?" Who just blurts that stuff out?
People
Really?
who do that because they think they're well-meaning, or
Yeah.
they think they're doing it by saying it out in the open. Is the elephant is no longer in the room. But
Weird. Okay.
yeah,
So let's talk about
they're
some of
trying
the
to help you, I guess. I guess. Like
yeah.
Geraldo Vera trying to help
Trying
us
to
by
help.
saying this is where our location
This
is.
is where we are. This is where we oh, that's weird. That's so
Yeah, I had to look
crazy.
that up again because he thought he was really helping.
I don't know if I did already, but give a shout out to Wayne Liebert. Thanks for being here tonight.
Hi, Wayne.
All right, so let's talk about some of the resources that you have available. And we can actually share your lovely website as
Look at
well
that. That's my organization right
for
there.
the benefit of veteran women. Look, the MySeester organization story.
Oh, look at that. Oh my
Look
goodness.
at this. It looks really good. We just go ahead and can you see that? Can you see the writing or no?
Yeah, well, let me go see. We at MySeester strive to open to communication on the benefit. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Uh,
That's
benefit,
nice.
as well as issues that concern the female veteran population. We also recognize the lack of programming, which you said, that impact women and girls in South Florida. We are headquartered in South Florida, and we'll focus our energy and resources on filling the
The boy.
void of resources for female veterans.
Yeah, man.
At 1.5 million veterans, you said it could be higher now. Florida
Yes.
has the third largest veteran population in the United States. Of that number, over 150,000 are former female service members. In addition to that, the number of female veterans who plan to transition out of the military and call Florida home is steadily rising. Yet resources and services tend to be geared towards veteran organizations that might include a separate female division.
Yeah. Because Florida has the weather. I mean, except for the
Yeah.
cold spell, we have the weather. So it's a nice place.
Mhm. So tell us what this organization offers and what do you do?
Well, if I hear that there's a female, I try to, depending on what they need, we try to find out what resources they need. If they need housing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'll use the resources available to find them a place to sleep
Mm-hmm.
or a place to go. Because there's a procedure if you're a homeless female or even a veteran in general of how to get a place. Because you don't just get a place. There are steps you have to involved. It's not
Okay.
just easy. Same thing with healthcare. Yes, you can go to a hospital, but if you want to get into the Veteran Affairs hospital system, there's steps involved. So we'll share that information. If you're trying for education, we also share that as well. Because if you just want to go to school or VOTEC, we try to see if you have your benefits, your GI Bill, and if you can use that. If not, we find other means. We also try to weed out those, those schools that are just taking your money and don't and make your skills go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to weed that out because unfortunately, with the veteran population, we do sometimes get money
Mm-hmm.
and resources, and people want to take advantage of that. So when I learn of those bad apples, I try to weed them out so the female don't have to go that route and waste their time. And
Are
then I
you
also get other resources as well.
mm, are you managing this by yourself, or do you have other people that are
Well,
working with you?
I have a professional who does the website,
Mm-hmm.
and then I manage the Facebook and the Instagram myself.
Oh, okay.
Because this is just some of the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and it changes, and
Mm,
that's why I always have them contact me
mm-hmm.
because things are changing rapidly,
Right.
especially with the Me Too and everything. With the Me Too's, there's a lot more help, not necessarily for a female veteran, but a female. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a female, might as well use those resources until the veteran side comes along and
Got you.
meets you. So I share that with them as well. And I found some new resources that, like I said, I post on Instagram that they can find the food banks because hey, eggs are expensive now.
Eggs,
So
are, egg, eggs is in the news right now, right?
yes.
There's loads of
So if you want to get a hookup with the eggs, I got you. I posted it.
okay.
So I have that, and then I also have the ways if you needed to get help or resources, and I do also have individuals who I can say, hey, I have this person, and they would listen to you and try to direct you in the right direction because of speaking with me and knowing I'm coming from a good spot.
Right, right. Well, people are going to definitely, utilize you as a resource moving forward.
I appreciate that. That would mean a lot.
Sure. So we have resources like suicide prevention, bullying
Yes.
hotline, sexual assault hotline, lifeline, grief support, depression support, drug, alcohol support, eating disorders, mental health support, abuse support. Um, toll-free lines, VA benefit hotline, women veterans hotline, White House VA hotline, women veterans, NVF, the Lifeline for Vets, VA suicide hotline. National Suicide Hotline. Stop Soldier Suicide.
Yeah, and just recently I actually posted about the anti-trafficking thing because
Yes,
that to say
yes.
that's like I mentioned in the beginning, there's so many things going on right now. There's a lot of and they're coming at me. So I try to get it
Uh-huh.
and I'm not able to update there, but I definitely would make a point to have it on the Instagram page.
Instagram. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that
Because
earlier.
that's on Instagram is real time.
Right, exactly. And then you have services here as well. Let's just jump over to
And
the
then my calendar should also there so you can see what I'm doing because I always felt like I'm always late to the party. So I try to update the calendar.
I saw our interview on the calendar.
Oh, you did?
there
Oh, look
there
at
we
that.
go. Makissa Lewis, 8 o'clock with Melissa Jane.
That's the whole point of that, to make sure I didn't want anyone to be late to the party. So if I
Right?
have enough time, I make sure I put it in the calendar.
Excellent. Let's take a quick look at the services here.
Go for it.
Um, we
I can
provide,
share some while you go look at them too.
yeah, sure head. It
Because
says
I
we
made sure before I was like, once you told me I was doing this, I was like, I'm going to get some resources to provide.
get some more. We
So,
provide mentorship or the means to obtain mentorship for those female veterans that are lacking upon request.
yes, because mentorship is a big component to be seen.
Mm. We provide information on we provide information on available financial resources that female veterans can use to finance their post-secondary education.
Yes.
MySeester will provide life skills workshops, private tutoring to female veterans to help them be successful on in their post-secondary academic career.
Mhm.
And then at each of these pages, guys, you have the opportunity to donate if you would like to support this
I
cause, which I think
appreciate that.
is a great, which is a great this is a great thing here.
Yeah, so with the farm shore, I was told by the person who kind of gave me the information.
Mm-hmm.
He works as a human services coordinator, a Chris Murphy. And if you needed more information, you can contact him at 954-357-5951. Again, his number is 954-357-5951. And you can contact him about food. Because honestly, yes, this eggs thing, people joke about it, but the
Mm.
fact if you can't feed your family or yourself, um, that's a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have Femi Folami, and she does the Kamala Project, which I'm part of too. The next generation of leaders, females, and she's targeting girls to 7 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for that because it's not only women, we also have to go back
Mm-hmm.
to the young people because if you start young, then you can build them to be strong, motivated, and not fall in the pit holes of the hidden curriculum and everything. So I'm all for the Kamala Project, which was named kind of in relation to
Kamala Harris.
the um, the vice president. So
Right,
it was kind of
Kamala
that.
Harris. Okay.
Um, Another one is Lynn Geiser, Hope for Veterans, and she works up north. Because like I said, it trickles down. So she's up north, and if you're ever in that area, Duval, Clay, and St. John area, she's doing great work there. And if you're not in that area, she does care packages. And if you need to get in touch with her, her phone number is 904-430-2388. Again, 904-430-2388. I call on her a lot to help with this housing thing because sad to say, South Florida does not have female veteran only transitional housing.
Mm.
Men do, but
Mm.
female veterans don't have it,
Mm-hmm.
which means that if you're a female and you're a veteran and you need a transitional housing, you need to go further north. Um, And if you're looking for housing, you're also looking, you might not have the transportation to go up that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I also have the VA grant per diem program.
Hold on a minute.
Sorry.
The music. I went to the homepage and it played the music out really loud.
Oh yay!
we're gonna have to play that. We're gonna play that.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
To Kenneth.
we'll play it. We'll carry on what you were saying. So we'll play it in a little bit.
Okay. Yes, that was Rain. So we also have Didley Delpeche, the VA grant per diem liaison, and he was able to provide me the homeless assistance helpline. So the number he provided was 305-960-4980. Again, 305-960-4980 or 311. And then if you need health care and you're homeless, the number is 305-541-5864. And then I also have jobs work. So I have Megan Johnson-Clarke, Urban League of Broward County. They do work, great work. And I have the work, and Megan is the workforce coordinator. And her number is 754-779-2819. Again, 754-779-2819. And if you want to get in touch with me, my number is 305-878-9207. 305-878-9207. But the best place is social media to find me.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting my resource and where I'm sharing information.
I was literally just gonna say, if you can give me all
Is
those
that me?
numbers, if you this is your page.
Oh, look at
MySeester.
that! Oh my goodness!
This is your Instagram page. Check this out, guys. And then also, if you click on the link, you will get to the website, which I'm going to get to in a second because as soon as I go there, it's going to play the music.
Cool.
But yeah, get in touch with Makissa through Instagram or through the website or Facebook, and then you can access all of those numbers. But I would say if you could have those sent to me, we can put them in the show notes afterwards.
Okay, will do.
That's possible. There was a lot there. I don't think that people were able to catch all of those.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to get something because these are the people who I work with constantly, and a lot of them, I told them I was going to do this. It's like, okay, can you give me some of your information? Because I don't want it to just stay with me.
Yes, you did perfect. You did perfect. So, I'm gonna let people hear the song that you have as part of your website. So, guys,
like I said, shout out to Rain.
Rain, okay.
Yeah,
let's get the audio going.
He's the one who created it.
Oh, okay. So let's go.
Well, you'll hear that when you listen to it.
Let's play this, guys. All right, just I don't even know if I can adjust the audio levels, but here we go. If it's too loud, just adjust your own TV or your own computer. Here we go, guys. There we go.
I don't hear it.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
It's taking a bit of time. Let's go home.
This is K Drama Beat.
We're here for the female veterans, those who served and fought for the nation. It's a different world for the soldiers. Majority wouldn't do this occupation. It gets hard for a few after service. MySeester here for a purpose. For the struggling life got them stuck up in a mess, and we try to help them out, make the suffering less. Yes, it's another physical. By God's word, we are trying to offer miracles. If you're homeless, we trying to get you shelter. We know things are hard, and we trying to make it better. This a vision wrote by Makissa. Have to make it plain that she fight for the sisters. A cold world it could be for a vet, especially if you haven't got help yet. We can supplies and clothes of your size, and the only things needed is a smile in your eyes. We try to help with addiction, depression, find places to make that connection. PTSD gained from the enemy makes it difficult to be a part of a family. We understand what you're going through, because most of us are veterans too. Proud and few, ain't no hard trying to be the best we can be. Forced by the sea, this the land of the free and the home of the brave. There shouldn't be any reason why any of them living in shame. So we here to bridge the gap and fill a couple holes that we need desperately, because only God knows what the road had ahead for us. We got a lot of work ahead of us. God trust.
That's tough, man. Yeah. That's the website, guys. That's the website. Let me just go ahead and copy that. That's a good track, man. That's a good track. All right.
I can't take credit for it, but I do. I'm very appreciative of the song and what it says. It's like, thank you. It was, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's a good song. All right. So we're gonna just wrap this up now. Do you have any programs or any special events coming up?
I cannot say yet. So if anything, you'll see it on Instagram when things are finalized. I don't. Sad to say, I thought I was going to do something like go big for Black History Month, but I don't even know how that's looking in South Florida now. So I have to see what is going to happen. Is it going to be like a march to Tallahassee now, or are we going to do something close? So we'll see.
We'll keep our eyes open
for that. But I definitely am going to be doing more work with the Kamala Project. So you can definitely see me working with more young people. And if you want to take part in that, please contact me so I can give you that information, because we're always looking for people who want to help.
Okay. And do you have any, let's say, recognitions or any special congratulations that you'd like to share with us?
Let's see. Do I want to say a shout out to my mom. Yeah, I love you. I know it's a hard road, but to me, I think you did a pretty good job. And I are okay. And I want to shout out to the people who I mentioned who did actually provide me their information. I mean, they took time and said, hey, make sure you get this information. So
awesome.
Thank you. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Didley. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Chris. Because, this is not about me. This is about female veterans. And You saw that and took time to give me the information.
Awesome. And I'm going to just give you the full screen, the big screen here, if I could get this right. Any final words you would like to just leave with for everybody, just to wrap it up?
I do want to say that thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you for seeing me, because by seeing me, you're seeing a female combat disabled veteran. So kudos to you and thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Makissa, for being available and just being so open and having the humor that you have and just being a real person, down to earth, and were able to just give us a lot of resources. We really thank you for your service and for also taking the next step, because many people would just say, you know what, I'm just going to deal with this by myself, I'll be all right eventually. But you've actually said, you know what, I'm going to take what certain things that were not very pleasant, but you're actually going to take that to help somebody else. So thank you on a different level than just saying thank you for your service, but thank you for being a resource to other people.
Thank you.
And I thank your parents too. All right, guys, that's the show for today. We've had a really great show with Makissa today. She's really given us a lot of food for thought and got a lot of great resources. The website's there. We have lots of numbers which we're going to put into the comments later on. And again, these shows are here to open your eyes to things, just to let people see, behind some of these curtains that you may not have looked into before. So this has been a really, really good one. Again, thank you, Makissa, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, guys, what a show, what a show, what a show. This has been very, very eye-opening. Let us share. We can still share the post, even though we're not live. We're gonna be coming off live in a little bit, but people can still watch the show immediately after the recording's there. It's available for everybody to see. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Yvette, Michelle, Jackie, Jessica, Wayne, Fantasy, Dr. Sonia, Joan, and Candid Ann. And let's see who else. Delicious Katie, Joan, Lascious Journey, Jackie, and Tamara Dawes, and Marva Riley, and everybody else that's tuned in. I will see you back on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful evening and tell somebody about it. All right? Have a good night.